Time interview, documentary maker John Ziegler. Welcome to you, Mr. Ziegler. What is the purpose of the film that you're making?
Well, first of all, there's already a film made called The Framing of Joe Paterno, Part 1. This Jerry Sandusky interview may be part of a larger film, The Framing of Joe Paterno. It's an honor to be with you. You've actually inspired part of my work here, because on the day of Jerry Sandusky's verdict, when you were anchoring here on CNN, you declared that Joe Paterno was clearly part of a cover-up. I thought that was ridiculous, because there was no evidence for that then. There's no evidence for that now. It doesn't even make any sense. The media rushed to judgment against Joe Paterno here, and against Penn State, and I was trying to use Jerry Sandusky's knowledge to be able to fill in the blanks, the many blanks that we have in the story, to try to put together the pieces of this puzzle which have not yet been fit together.
Now, do you think Jerry Sandusky is a pedophile?
Yeah, I do.
It is. So why would you want to give him the oxygen of being able to talk about his victims again?
Wait a minute. Let's get something.
That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not. But let's get something very straight. No, I'm not. Oxygen? Do you know where he's living? He's living in a supermax prison.
He's living where he belongs.
Right, that's fine.
He's a convicted pedophile.
But I'm not giving him any oxygen.
Preyed on these poor young kids.
Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to the truth of this matter. Joe Paterno's dying wish was just find out what the truth was. No one has done that for Joe Paterno.
But Joe Paterno,
I'm trying to do that. And the only way to do that is to talk to the central figure in this story.
Right.
And that's Jerry Sandusky. And when there's corroborating evidence, which there is for much of what Jerry says with regard to Penn State and Joe Paterno's lack of culpability, I will use that to try to make the case that this was a rush to judgment.
Let's listen to some of this apparent evidence.
You don't remember slapping towels yourself, do you?
I'm not actually sure. I would have been more kind of slap boxing or something like that. You know, I'm not sure. And then I remember he always, no matter what we did, he would always get the last lick in. Okay, he would get the last smack, and then I chased him and I ran him into a wall. But then I was like pulling him back to go back into the area of shower where we were showering. And then that was it. You know, that's all. I never saw Mike McQuarrie. I don't know whether the young man saw him. I don't know.
You're sure you never saw Mike McQuarrie?
I am sure.
This is a man who refused to take the stand in his case. But to you, he's now coming out in this flippant, semi-jocular manner, talking about abusing young boys in a shower, regardless of whether he raped them or not, and he's been convicted, but whether you believe him or not.
Well, he was actually acquitted of the rape charge in that particular case.
He doesn't dispute running around a shower.
I agree.
Horse playing with a naked boy.
But I understand, and that's outrageous to a lot of people, and understandably so. I agree with that. In fact, I think one of the more amazing things here is Jerry Sandusky admits to me in my interview with him, which is 3.5 hours, to activity that is actually criminal that I'm not sure he understands is criminal. But the reason why that clip is important is because it's the central issue in the Joe Paterno Penn State part of the story.
But how does that have anything to do with Joe Paterno?
Here's how, because I'm holding in my hands the corroborating evidence from the alleged victim in that case, victim number 2, whose identity I now know. This is an interview he gave to an FBI trained investigator, former police officer, on the day Joe Paterno was fired, saying nothing happened that night, Mike McQuarrie is lying, and that investigators tried to get him to lie to say what they wanted to hear him say. That is powerful, and this is proactively coming from a person who was a 24-year-old, married, sergeant in the Marine Corps at that time, proactively coming out and saying, wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying nothing happened in the shower. What I'm saying is that had we known that on November 9th of 2011, people would have said, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. This is a rush to judgment here. Let's find out.
No,
not against Jerry Sandusky, Piers. This is not that difficult to understand.
No,
Joe Paterno.
No need to be rude.
I'm not. You guys have had
very...
a year and a half to make your case.
Listen,
you're going to give me
my case.
You're going to. Yes, it is.
My case.
You claimed he was part of a cover-up.
Wait a minute.
You claimed
Jerry
he was part of a cover-up.
Did
you not
Jerry
claim that Joe Paterno?
Sandusky?
You defamed Joe Paterno, saying he was part of a cover-up. Did you not say that?
I'll tell you what. Let's take a break. See if you can calm down.
Did you not say that?
See if you can calm down. We'll try again after the break. And I'm back now to talk more about Jerry Sandusky. So, Mr. Z, let me just get this straight. Now, you don't dispute that Jerry Sandusky abused boys in the shower, and this boy in particular in the shower, right?
Jerry Sandusky, as I said in the previous segment, had his day in court. Joe Paterno never did. That's always been my focus. I believe from the beginning this was a media rush.
Answer my question. You don't dispute that he abused boys in the shower?
The evidence is there. He was convicted. Okay. I have no problem with that.
Do you know why Joe Paterno was fired?
He was allegedly fired for not protecting the very boy whose interview I'm holding in my hand, saying on the day he got fired that there was no reason to protect him.
Let me remind you, the board found that while Paterno fulfilled a legal obligation to tell his superiors that an employee claimed Sandusky abused a young boy in a shower, they said Paterno should have done more, right? It was a failure of leadership by Coach Paterno.
But everything we thought we knew then is false.
In other words, Mr. Ziegler, Joe Paterno did know that Sandusky was abusing boys in the shower.
No, he did not.
Well, clearly he did. That's why he was fired.
So you're believing the Penn State Board of Trustees who wet their pants in the face of this media onslaught, this rush to judgment, where everything we thought we knew.
There was no media onslaught. I know you're big on media conspiracies.
And you try to drag
me into this. So let me make my position crystal clear to you. Jerry Sandusky is one of the worst predatory pedophiles I've seen in a very long time.
I'm not worried about
Joe Paterno knew he was doing stuff to those boys. How do you know that, Piers? Because he reported it to the board. We know this.
But wait a minute, you know nothing about this case. I know you won Celebrity Apprentice, so you must be really smart.
Why are you being so offensive?
But you know nothing about the facts of this case. Is it because
you've had a whole day now on the back foot on this?
On the back foot? You seem to think that this is a commercial endeavor. This is not a commercial endeavor.
How much money are you making from it?
Zero. I couldn't care less about that.
You don't make any money?
I'm trying to fix this. This is an absolute
Did you make any money from
zero.
NBC or not?
No. Absolutely. In fact, we didn't even pursue trying to make any money. So
you're not making a single penny?
Not a single penny.
Yet your motivation seems to be to clear Joe Paterno, right?
I'm trying to figure out what the truth of this matter is.
Is that your motivation? Please stop being such an idiot. Okay?
Because I want to find out what the truth is.
You're just being offensive for the sake of it. No, let me just read you a statement from the Paterno family. So
you believe Scott Paterno?
Can I read a family statement?
Right.
On behalf of the man, you say you are trying to clear his name,
I'm trying to find the truth.
So let me read a statement from the family. The Paterno family would prefer to remain silent on this matter, but they feel it's important to make it clear they had no role in obtaining or releasing this recording. Moreover, they believe that any attempt to use this recording as a defense of Joe Paterno is misguided and inappropriate. That's the words of his family.
Right, so
they don't want you doing this.
So on the record, then, you believe that Scott Paterno is credible, and therefore you must not believe in the cover-up anymore.
You're now attacking Paterno's family whilst trying to clear Joe Paterno's name.
You apparently believe that Scott Paterno is credible.
You're now attacking his family?
No, you are saying that Scott Paterno is credible, so I'm saying since Scott Paterno doesn't believe in a cover-up,
on behalf of the family.
Do you believe in a cover-up?
On behalf of the Paterno family.
Do you believe in a cover-up?
The only cover-up...
They say there's no cover-up.
The only cover-up was by Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno.
There's no evidence that Joe Paterno was part of a cover-up.
Joe Paterno got fired. Of course he knew that Sandusky was doing things he shouldn't be doing.
So because
he may not have known the whole scale of it, but he knew damn well Sandusky was having naked showers with these boys.
That's an incredible charge.
That's why he got fired.
But so you're saying that because he got fired, that inherently means
that he was guilty? To make these victims go through more pain.
That's exactly my motivation.
Why
You're
are
right.
you?
I'm trying to make victims go through the pain.
That's the only thing that is happening as a result of your film.
I'm trying to figure, really.
Calling the victims liars.
I'm trying to figure
out
what
smear their names
here.
Trying to minimize.
I'm not calling any victims
liars. Trying to minimize what he did.
I am not calling any. In fact, I'm calling the victims truth tellers. Victim 2 is telling the truth here and is still telling the truth. I believe victim 2 is probably abused and is not changing his story. He's changing his interpretation of events. Stop lying about me. I have never said the victims are lying. That would be ridiculous. So my only agenda here is to find out what happened. You guys in the media didn't do a good job of that. You bought into a narrative that makes no sense and for which there's no proof.
A courtroom convicted Sandusky
but not
of
Paterno.
pedophilia,
Paterno
and the
never
board of Penn State fired Paterno for a lack of leadership. Which by any definition, Joe Paterno failed those boys. He failed the boys in his charge.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
He did exactly the right thing. If he had done any more, he would have been criticized for that. And everything we thought we knew... If he'd done any more to stop Sandusky over years of abusing boys... He didn't know that was happening.
Oh,
and there's
come
no
off.
evidence.
Oh,
and there's
come
no
off
evidence.
it.
Piers, there's no evidence
And
that.
you talk about conspiracies.
There's no conspiracy here. This is everyone acting in their own self-interest, throwing an old man who died soon after this happened under the bus to protect themselves, including the Penn State Board of Trustees. And by the way, everything we thought we knew on November 9, 2011, when the board made that decision, is false. Mike McQueary never said he saw a rape. He never told Joe Paterno about a rape. And I believe that a rape that night probably never occurred.
What do you think did occur then?
I believe that Jerry Sandusky and the victim say almost exactly the same thing occurred,
What did Sandusky
which was
do to that boy?
inappropriate action that Penn State took action on and made sure his employer, which by the way was no longer Penn State,
So just to clarify,
his employer knew about it and they knew who the boy was.
In between the shrieking, just to clarify, you don't disagree that Sandusky abused the boy?
How many times do we need to go through this? I couldn't care less about that at this point. He had his day in court. Is this that difficult a concept for you, Piers? I mean, you won Celebrity Apprentice. You're an incredibly smart guy. I would think you'd be able to understand the difference between defending Joe Paterno's legacy and whether or not he was actually
Nobody
guilty.
wants you to defend Joe Paterno's legacy. His own family.
You don't.
His own family don't want you to do this.
Because
Joe Paterno's family don't want you doing this.
Scott Paterno, you're right, does not want me doing this.
The only purpose of you doing
this
is to try and make Sandusky look a bit better than he is. Give him a chance to carry on tormenting these poor kids with his jocular, horrible little tapes with you.
You decided to have Beyond to play the clips. You're the one. I don't have the ability to go to a huge broadcast on CNN
because
and
you've made a movie out of this.
I mean, you decided, let's play Jerry Sandusky. Right. You're the one that's tormenting these kids allegedly, which I don't believe is happening. We're trying to get to the truth, but you're the one tormenting them by your own definition, Piers. And please, would you please admit there was no cover-up here? What you said on the night of the Sandusky verdict was wrong.
Of course there was a cover-up. That's why Joe Paterno got fired.
Yeah, that was not even the allegation.
Joe Paterno knew that Sandusky was behaving utterly inappropriately towards these young boys.
Even if that was
over
true,
a long
even if
period
that was
of time.
true, that's not
and
a
it was a disgraceful dereliction of his duties.
Could you explain?
An utterly disgraceful.
Could you explain to me why he testified the way that he did? Could you explain to me why he testified the way he did, or why he allowed Mike McQueary to testify the way that he did?
Let me bring in somebody else who knows a lot about this. CNN correspondent Sarah Gannon, who won a 2012 Pulitzer Prize for her coverage of the Sandusky story. Sarah, you've heard this rather dispiriting interview I've been trying to conduct here. What is your take on what Mr. Ziegler's been saying?
You know, Piers, here's the deal. I sat through that trial every single day. I listened to all of those men, including Mike McQueary, testify. And at the end of the day, the jury believed them, every single one of them, including Mike McQueary. They believed that he saw something inappropriate in that shower.
That's not true.
Something inappropriate. They convicted him on
Sarah,
one
she won
count.
a Pulitzer Prize. Let her finish.
She got a Pulitzer Prize for repeating the
Let her finish what she wants to say, Mr. Ziegler.
They convicted him on one count of indecently touching a boy in the shower.
Please.
So I was right.
Sarah, continue. I'm sorry.
I think that the only thing we should be focusing on at this point is helping those victims, helping all victims of sexual abuse, and helping society understand how we can learn from this tragedy, how we can move forward, how we can protect the next group of kids and protect our children from people like Jerry Sandusky. And I think that what he's talking about right now, what his agenda is, has absolutely nothing to do with that.
What about your agenda? Why don't we explain how she got her Pulitzer Prize? She was the mouthpiece.
You know what, Mr. Ziegler? I don't want to hear any more from you.
Because you don't
Sarah,
know anything about the case.
Congratulations again on your stunning reporting that won the Pulitzer Prize.
Stunning
and to you, Mr. Ziegler, I would take the Paterno family's advice and just disappear. That'd be great.
Thank you so much, Piers.
Coming up,